Hi everyone, my name is Casey and welcome back to my channel. Here on my channel, we talk about personal growth, lifestyle, and personal finance. Today we're going to talk about the 12 money moves to make in your 20s. So if you're interested in that, just keep watching. Number 1, create a budget and play an active role in your finances. So you've probably heard this before. Making a budget is super important in your finances, and not just creating a budget and forgetting about it. Creating a budget, following it, and checking up on it every single month to see how you're doing. I'm interested in making a budgeting video in the future, so if you have any questions or things you want me to answer in that video, please leave them down in the comments below. Number 2, start an emergency fund and aim to save 3 to 6 months of expenses. So saving 3 to 6 months is the best case scenario when it comes to emergency funds, but just start small. Even if it's just $1,000, something is better than nothing. As you can all see during COVID, things aren't as stable as we might have thought they were before, and it's always great to have some extra money lying around that you can use in case of an emergency. Number 3, use credit responsibly to build your credit score. Credit is super important. You need to buy a house, buy a car, rent an apartment, and much more. So it's super important that you start early and build your credit score up. I recommend using a credit card for that. It's probably the easiest way to do that, but I have 2 rules that I always follow when it comes to credit. Number 1 is to never purchase anything that you don't already have the money for in your debit account. And number 2 is to pay off your full balance every single month. So never carry a balance month over month. Number 4, set up your 401k and invest until your employer match. So if you have a traditional 9-to-5 job, you probably have an employer-sponsored 401k. A 401k is a retirement account that allows you to invest pre-tax money. A lot of times, your employer will match a percentage of that money that you invest. So for example, say you invest 4%, your employer might match 2%. So I recommend investing to the limit that your employer will match, because that's pretty much free money that if you don't take advantage of, you're losing. So get in touch with your HR department and see if your employer has a 401k plan that you can pay into. Number 5, create a Roth IRA and max it out if possible. A Roth IRA is an individual retirement account that allows you to invest after-tax money into the stock market. The benefit with the Roth IRA is that when you take that money out in your retirement, you don't have to pay taxes since you already pay taxes on the money on the front end. So there's a limit to how much money that you can invest each year. Currently it sits around $6,000, but make sure that whenever you're watching this that you research what that limit is at that time. But if you can, I recommend trying to max out your Roth IRA every single year. I personally use Vanguard, but there are plenty other services that you can use as well to start a Roth IRA. Number 6, significantly pay down your consumer and student loan debt. Debt is something that at any time you really want to reduce or avoid at all costs. If you have debt, it's imperative that you create a plan on how to get out of debt as soon as possible. Paying off debt consists of paying off more than your minimum payment each month in order to cut down on the principal amount of your debt. There are 2 main ways to paying off your debt: the snowball method and the avalanche method. The snowball method is where you rank your debts from the smallest amount to the largest amount, and you pay off the smallest amount of debt first, and you snowball up towards the largest amount of debt. People enjoy this method because you can normally pay off a bunch of small debts relatively quickly, and the momentum that you gain from those small debts and the satisfaction and the excitement that comes from paying off debt helps you to propel you to pay off your larger and larger debts. The second method is the avalanche method, and this is where you rank your debts based on the highest interest rate, and you pay off the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate. Now this method is the cheaper method between the 2 because you'll be saving money in interest, but normally your highest interest rate is a relatively large debt. So it might take you some more time to pay off that debt than your other debts. Each method has, pros and cons to each one, but it doesn't matter which one you use. Just pick one and start paying off your debt. Number 7, get the appropriate insurance that you need. So depending on where you are in life, there are different types of insurances that you may need. It might be car insurance, health insurance, life insurance. No matter what type of insurance that you need, do your research and get the policies that benefit you the most. Number 8, create at least 1 additional stream of income. So COVID has definitely taught me that no matter how safe you think you are in your job, things can change in an instant. And the jobs that we have might not be as secure as we thought. So it's super important that if you can, that you create additional streams of income other than your main form of income. This allows you to have some wiggle room in your budget to where maybe you can add more to your emergency fund or pay off more debt. But regardless, having more money is always a plus in your budget. Number 9, live below your means and avoid lifestyle creep for as long as possible. Living below your means that your expenses are lower than your income, so that you have a surplus every single month that you can use for, savings or debt or whatever you want. By living below your means, that allows you to accomplish your other financial goals because you have extra money every single month. Lifestyle creep consists of every time you get a pay raise, you also increase your expenses. So you're not actually gaining any new money, and you want to avoid this at all costs. And actually in your 20s, this is a perfect time to avoid lifestyle creep like the plague. Because when you're in your 20s, generally you have lower responsibilities. You might still be living at home, you probably don't have kids, you generally just have smaller expenses. So if you can try to avoid increasing those expenses as long as possible while you're also getting pay increases and pay raises, you can use that money and put it towards your other financial goals so that you can reach them quicker. Number 10, save up for large expenses. So as a society, we've gotten really comfortable in just seeing something we want and just going out and getting it, not really looking at can we afford it currently or if we truly need it at this time. So I recommend saving up for any large purchases that you have. A couple months ago, I wanted to upgrade my MacBook Pro from my 2014 version that I got before college. So what I did is, since I didn't need a computer right away, I forecasted how much money I could save each month until I got to the purchase amount of the new MacBook Pro and saved up that money each month until I had that lump sum amount and could buy the computer outright. I recommend doing this for any large purchases that you have coming up. Number 11, strive to save 40 to 60% of your income. Now I know this is a lofty goal, but striving to save 40 to 60% of your income will really propel you into financial freedom quicker. So if you do that, things like retiring early or, starting a side business or just being able to really spend your money how you want will become more and more possible for you. And this is a goal that I'm still working to get to, but if you can, try to save 40 to 60% of your income every single month. And last but not least, invest in brokerage accounts. So if you have additional money after you've invested in your 401k and your Roth IRA, I'd recommend opening a brokerage account and starting investing in that. Make sure before you really dive into brokerage accounts though that you really do your research and make sure that you're well versed on investing and all that comes with that. So there you have it, the top 12 money moves to make in your 20s. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of my tips and if you have any additional tips of your own. Before you leave, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.